Hello there, my name is Ethan Brown, and I'm in my junior year of high school taking the classes of Intro to Communication, U.S. History, and English Composition. And today I will be talking about a few things, those things being my personal culture, nonverbal communication and how it plays into my personal culture and life, and my opinion upon how mass communication affects the communication process as a whole. When speaking of my personal culture, I'd say that it is one that is mainly middle-class, Midwestern, and based around the ideas of family, church, and the agricultural industry. And I'd also say that my family culture itself is composed of people who are mainly Caucasian and Christian. I think this is fairly common based upon where I live. When speaking on whether my culture is more individualist or collectivist, I'd say individualist, to the fact that most of the people in my family promote strong and industrious work ethics, but then it turns collectivist when looking at the religious side of things, that is Christianity, that is a hard focus on others. This, in the beginning of my life, my parents, I believe, gave me a fairly sheltered view of the world, but through just living my life through recent years, my view of the world has widened, and it has had a fairly strong effect on my communication. You see, I can now skillfully communicate with anyone, regardless of their belief system or ethnic background, and I believe I come off like a strong and confident person who knows the art of communication. And through my years of communicating with people, I've picked up on the nonverbal side of things, the nonverbal side of communication. What nonverbal communication's taught me is that it has shown me what people are feeling when they convey a certain posture, emotion, or other nonverbal cue. The people in my family have shown me what things like discomfort, anger, sadness, happiness, indifference look like. Name your possible emotion, what it looks like in nonverbal form, and what it looks like when someone is trying to convey something to you or just share something with you non-verbally. As people, we learn about the world from what we can sense about it. So the more things we sense, and the bigger our pool of people and situations to choose from are, and the more we read into each visible emotion, the more we learn. So when speaking of myself, I'd say I'm a fairly avid reader. This range of people I know too, though, has also taught me certain communicational truths that exist in every culture, and that I've learned that if we apply these communicational truths, then we can communicate with people basically from any culture. And I'd also say that when speaking to people with possible language barriers, my senses for verbal cues and body language heighten. So the effect that foreign culture has on my nonverbal communication is that my senses heighten for verbal cues and body language, and I apply these communicational truths instead of just sticking to what my culture deems appropriate. One could say that I've adjusted my communication style to fit a massive range of people from different parts of the world, and you'd be right. But what happens when the amount of people being communicated to in itself is massive? I'm speaking, of course, of mass communication and its effect upon the communication process as a whole. You see, the impact mass communication has on the communication process is that it allows so many people to hear a message in a very short amount of time, thus spreading the word very quickly. You see, such speed and efficiency is ever useful when important information needs to be sent out, received, and finally implemented. But this sheer speed and efficiency can also have positives and negatives, good parts and downfalls. You see, the positive side of mass communication is that in itself, it's positive, it's mass communication. So many people are hearing a message in a very short amount of time, and that is something that has rarely, throughout the however long you think humans have been alive, it's a fairly recent thing for the scale that it's at, and that's a positive thing for lots of people to know a message very quickly. But the negative side is that through so many people hearing your message in a short amount of time, there's room for error and misinterpretation of your message, and that people have their own motives and ideas on what they want to get from your message. So there's room for possible error there, and that's the negative side. So let's review. You have heard about me and my culture and its various intricacies, whether it's more collectivist or individualist, and how it affects my view of the world and how I communicate and present myself to others. You've also heard about nonverbal communication and how I view it, how it affects my culture, and how it differs whenever I'm speaking to people from different cultural and ethnic backgrounds. Finally, you've heard about my view of mass communication and how I think it affects the communication process, along with the advantages and disadvantages that I see in using such large format communicating. Culture and communication shape our society and every society. Whether deep in ethnic roots, nonverbally conveyed, or sent out to numerous amounts of people, these two key human qualities tie together our world as we know it. Thank you.